building your directory, marketplace, or niche community on the Circle platform. Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from mindfulmarketplace.com, and as many of you know, we're building a brand new private community on the Circle software as a service community building platform. And I've actually gotten some questions in our private course community about why that is, why we're not using something like BuddyPress or Wordpress, or even something like Mighty Networks or Tribe. I've certainly used Mighty Networks in the past. I have not used Tribe, but Mighty Networks also is a great solution. I just think it's a little bit less optimal for our use case, as I will elucidate below. All right, so a few of the reasons why we're picking Circle for our new community. And I think for some of you, if you have a similar use case, you actually may want to consider it for your platform as well. It's certainly not ideal for everybody, contingent a bit about or upon what exactly you're aspiring to create or to build. But for us, really, the more that I experiment and explore their platform, it really is a slam dunk for creating community around our content, our courses, our products, and our platform. I would also like to add that we do have a brand new challenge coming on the 7th of September. This is for product creators, course creators, digital media brands, anyone who wants to publish content, products, programs, even coaching offers, and is looking to monetize your brand in that way. I'm going to be doing a live demonstration for 30 days in September, or starting in September and going into October, where you can see exactly what we're doing for our own community in a live, transparent, and extemporaneous way. All right, so back to Circle, and that's going to be on Circle. So back to why I think for those of you building directories, I think Circle is really going to be an exciting, kind of platform or software that most are not going to, know about. So I'm trying to get the word out here. One, it really allows you or us, even in its early stages, to create a great-looking member directory. Your members can have their own profiles and links, but most important to me, you give your members the ability to add unlimited amounts of their own content, right? So people can, without logging into something like WordPress or any kind of similar CMS like that, they can add their own events and products, coupons, blog updates, like anything that you would want to add to a community. You can set your Circle to accept that sort of user-generated content. It's sort of like integrating BuddyPress within a WordPress-based directory like My Listing did a couple years ago, back I think in 2018 or so, which was why I was initially so excited about that particular theme and framework, the natural sort of harmony that they built between content, community, and directory. And I think that is really exciting. I don't think it turned out to be quite as seamless or quite as useful over the years, but Circle certainly has that by dint of their community focus that's baked into the bones of their platform, rather than WordPress and a theme like My Listing, which is trying to kind of like reverse engineer or Frankenstein in that sort of functionality. All right, so really important to me is, and I think it should be important to many of you, Circle handles all the tech, the software, the updates, and the improvement to the underlying, the tech stack on their side, right? So you don't need to do anything other than create content, attract an audience, and promote your products and your platform, right? And I think this is something, I have these conversations at least once a day with those of you who are part of our private community, who are asking me questions about the, themes and the, extensions that come with these WordPress themes and all the various ways that you have to integrate different plugins and tools and tech. And I think ultimately what happens is everyone spends so much time on those parts of the platform, right? Playing with the plugins and the updates and how this, theme integrates with that tool set, et cetera, et cetera. It's certainly not my expertise. I've just managed to learn these things enough that it appears like I know what I'm doing. I really don't. I'm certainly not a tech person, but so many of us relegate the marketing or the content creation or the audience attraction to the bottom rung of the ladder of importance, where in actuality, it's actually the most important piece of building this sort of asset, right? I mean, you need an audience, you need people, you need members, you need products, you need offers. Yet I see so many people spending all their time like optimizing their site for speed or playing with different map options or plugins, et cetera, and it's just invariably not making people any money, and that's why so many of these products and platforms and communities ultimately fail, right? So software like Circle actually handles all the the tech, time wasting, wrangling, wrestling that most of us have done with WordPress, and it eliminates that from our work experience in terms of building one of these communities. All right, so something else that I noticed about Circle that I really like is that they have this great community of successful entrepreneurs who are already using their platform with a ton of success, right? And if you look at a couple of the videos that I've done on their platform thus far, I've just serendipitously stumbled upon other folks that I happen to know of or know personally who are actually already using Circle to build communities, right? And this is actually what inspired me to take a closer look at them relative to some of the other tools that we're using. And in the last couple of days, I'm recording this on September 1st, I've actually had a couple, email exchanges with one of the founders of Circle, who has really, shared some of what they're going to be doing in the future that is particularly very salient and relevant to those of us building directory, marketplace, or authority site, niche communities, sorts of platforms, right? And I really think that over the next 6 months or so, if some of this functionality that he was sharing with me privately via email comes to life the way that he seems to suggest, it's really going to make more and more it's going to become less and less of a question mark that this sort of software is actually the quintessential way that most of us who are serious about our businesses in this kind of space ought to be proceeding, right? All kinds of features that are search related and surfacing related, custom fields, landing pages that segment member interest and audience interest, etc., right? So I think that's all really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to exploring Circle as well. Again, I pay for the platform myself, and I certainly wouldn't recommend, those of you who are interested. I'm saying this badly. I mean, I use it as a customer, right? I don't know anyone there other than a few email exchanges myself. All right. Now, a few people have also asked, about some options outside of WordPress and have inquired about Circle over the last couple of days that I don't think, that wouldn't, let's say, be well served using Circle as an option. So if you're looking for like a more Yelp-like WordPress theme or Yelp-like experience for your members or users, like office hours or restaurant hours or all sorts of mappy kind of options like that, I don't think that Circle's really the appropriate platform. Circle's much more of a Facebook-like analog or alternative for community building rather than a Yelp-like or a business directory in the purest sense of the word. So I think you'd be better off, if that's your goal, sticking with something like WordPress or using even something like Glide in combination with WordPress. I've certainly done some recordings on using Glide, or even a proper marketplace solution like ShareTribe, which I happen to love if you're building like a pure peer-to-peer sort of marketplace and you want the best software to do that. ShareTribe is awesome. It just happens to be much more expensive, and it's a lot less flexible for non-coders or non-developers, and I count myself in that group. Also, you might want to consider HivePress, which is free, and I've done some videos on that as well. HivePress is a great option for WordPress enthusiasts. We're actually also using TaskHive, which is a premium marketplace, multi-vendor style solution that is offered, by the folks who created HivePress, that allows your members to sell products on your platform. We're actually using that now. I'm developing something with TaskHive right now for this same community that we're running on Circle, which will allow our members to sell services to other members using WordPress, using this TaskHive theme and the extensions that is, again, built on the HivePress platform, which is a directory option that's free for WordPress. All right. So in other words, if you really want to really extend one of these platforms in a cool and creative way, you can just simply combine the best of all worlds. You can use something like WordPress in combination with something like Glide or even ShareTribe, and then integrate the community building functionality with a Circle-like solution. I'd actually recommend Circle specifically, but again, there are other analogs in that space, Mighty Networks, Tribe, etc., etc. All right, so in conclusion, I'm just going to say something that I've shared via email privately again with a couple people over the last couple of days that I really think is critical to understand, and that is that there's a chicken and the egg conundrum that all of us face, myself included, when building out these sorts of projects. And the chicken and the egg conundrum, I'm just going to reduce it to these two buckets, which I call bucket one is asset, and this is the value of the site itself. This evolves and appreciates over time, like any other piece of real estate you may own in the real world, right? So, an asset like this authority site or community or niche directory or marketplace is something that, if you apply the requisite amount of love and attention, will grow in value over time, right? It will, if you have a good domain name in a good area or a good niche or a good, whatever, it's going to appreciate and evolve and become more and more valuable with each, month and each year that you own it. But the chicken and the egg conundrum piece is you also need income as both a practical, pragmatic, and an inspirational element to your platform. And what that means is if you're not able to earn an income, a cash flow, while you are trying to build this evolving, appreciating asset, you're not going to either, one, have the cash flow you need to succeed or keep the project going. And it's hard to actually get to that point in the future where your platform is valuable. But the other thing is there's a enthusiasm gap, right? There's a hole in any of our enthusiasm or willingness to follow through. If you're not making any money, it's easy just to let the project or the platform wither away and die on the vine, right? So it's hard to actually stay enthusiastic about something when your payday is going to be, 12 or 36 or 48 months down the road, right? I mean, so you need a short-term way of making money. Now, certainly I have covered many of these approaches, in these videos and recordings and PDFs that I've offered those of you who are in our private community. I think certainly I've done some of that for those of you on YouTube as well, who are not part of our private community, but are just kind of occasionally cherry picking these audios and videos to watch or listen to. And I would just say to you that I think Circle offers the ability to both build the asset piece, right? So you're building, this evolving, appreciating asset, while simultaneously also offering all of us tons of creative ways to monetize our community in the short term. And, the truth is that interactivity, right? Audience interactivity generates income, right? People are far more likely to interact with me and then pay me something afterwards by dint of watching me, by saying something to me in a real world space, like Facebook, for an example, is a good example of this in my own business, rather than like watching a video or reading a PDF or just seeing me or listening to something I've recorded somewhere in the world as a maker or as a creative or as an author. They might be impressed, they may enjoy or not the content, but they're just not likely to actually engage with you afterwards. A community building element to your to your sort of how you show up in the world adds that in a very, very powerful way. About 1 in 8 people that will interact with me on Facebook in a private message capacity or in some sort of other space like a Mighty Networks community where you're actually talking to someone back and forth will pay you money, right? They'll hire you to work with you in whatever it is that you are doing in the world that brought them into your orbit in the first place. So for someone like myself who does marketing and who does consulting and coaching for content creators and teachers and authors and coaches and digital makers and marketers, that's having the ability to interact in a more intimate way with which a circle or that sort of community offers. Is just a slam dunk, and I think it will do the same for you. All right, so those are some of the things that I'm sharing in terms of our thinking going forward on our Mindful Marketplace community. And if you're interested in joining our community for this 30-day challenge in September, I encourage you to sign up via the link below. And if you have any questions, as always, I am happy to help. All right. Thanks so much. Again, Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and have a wonderful day.